But fast forward to when I started learning more about how I could improve my life, that I didn't have to be stuck in this same position, that I could choose what my future looked like, then everything started to accelerate. I started to learn so much more. And that is possible for you too. I'm Ian Hawkins, and this is Sport is Life. The purpose of sport, as I see it, is to see your vision become a reality. Find your voice, create strong connections, and learn to trust your body. Hey all, I wanted to share with you something today that I wish I'd known earlier into my journey, and that is things do not get easier as you continue through life, as you continue on your growth journey. They actually get harder. They get more challenging, but you will get better at dealing with these different situations. Now, of course, you're going to learn from experience. So the more time you have on this earth, the better you're going to get. And you'll learn when you go through an experience that next time that maybe you try a different approach, or that you know what you didn't know previously. Now, you can go through life learning that way, and it's a very viable way of going through your life, but it takes time. You have to wait for the experience to come, and then you have to go through whatever it is, learn the lesson. Sometimes learning the lesson can take a long time. Sometimes it can take more than one examples of that setback. In fact, sometimes it can be repeated versions of that setback, or you can learn from other people's experience. And that's something that I didn't learn until probably about 13 years ago, when I suddenly started learning from these guys who wasn't rocket science, but they were passing on knowledge of how to deal with different situations. I started with guys like Jim Rohn, one of the early personal development, say gurus, but more of like, he's an educator, a teacher, Les Brown, and then just into any number of different places to learn as much as I could. Because once you start realizing that you can fast track your results by learning from others, then you will gain a thirst for knowledge that maybe you haven't had for a long time. I know when I finished uni, I vowed that I would never do study again, that I would never do any more courses, or I was burnt out basically by education. Unfortunately, that actually stunted my growth to a large degree. And what I should have said was, I don't want to do any more study in areas that don't interest me, in areas that are challenging and going to burn me out, and that aren't in line with my personal communication and learning preferences. But fast forward to when I started learning more about how I could improve my life, that I didn't have to be stuck in this same position, that I could choose what my future looked like, then everything started to accelerate. I started to learn so much more. And that is possible for you too. But I want to come back to what I said at the start, is it doesn't get easier. You're going to have greater challenges. You will get better at dealing with them. And so sometimes it might feel easier. But the most important thing is you're not going to have that full body emotional reaction. You're not going to have that the overthinking and the painful experience. But instead, you're going to already know, okay, well, this has happened and it has maybe impacted me, but I know what to do next. And based on your unique communication and learning style, you'll know what your go-to is, and you'll know how you're going to find a way to navigate the situation. And for me, being an extrovert, the easiest answer for me is always, who do I speak to? Who do I connect with? And even if you're not an extrovert, it's a way to fast track your way through anything. It's a way to get the advice on a certain situation from someone who's been through it. And that is how you're going to make the progress that you desire, the consistency. You might have had that thought, I thought I'd be further along my life by now. I thought I'd have more success by now. I thought I'd have more add whatever you want to add. The ability to travel, money was a big driver for me when I started this journey. It was like, I want to create some financial freedom and financial security for me and my family. I wanted to have flexibility. I want to be tied to this job that was taking me away from my family time for 10 hours, sometimes more a day. Now, I now know that it wasn't so much the time, but it was the work that I was doing that was the bit that was probably the biggest impact, and the impact that was having on the time I did have with my children. Because now I don't know if I work more, but I certainly work a fair bit, but that's because I love it. I can have the flexibility of time to put that in and around my time with my family, and I get so much more joy and energy, so that when I do have that time with the most important people in my world, that I'm feeling energized. I'm not feeling in that stress position anymore. So wherever you're up to, it's not about getting over that. Just got to get to the end of this next thing. I just got to get into this next thing and everything will be easier, because it doesn't get easier. And there'll be something else on the other side of it. It's instead going, okay, what do I need to learn now so I can be whatever you're wanting to be in the moment? Of course, there are times where you will need to get yourself past a season of something. Work's really busy. You know it's going to only be for a short time. Get through it. But as long as you're then learning the lesson from that and seeing how you can bring in a new learning or a new learning from the experience so that you can do it differently the next time. If you continue to live like that, I just got to get to the next holiday, I've got to get to the end of term, I've got to get to here, then everything will be okay. Well, then you'll just keep repeating the same patterns. And I know it because I've done it. You might have a holiday that makes you feel a bit better for a while, but it's only a short-term fix, and you're soon back into that same pattern that you were in before. I might do a separate episode on that, on the fake recharge of a holiday, and what you actually need to do in conjunction with that to make sure you are not just living and working for your holidays or for your weekends, but actually getting more enjoyment out of your day to day. I'll leave it there. I'll speak to you very soon. You've taken the time to listen to this whole episode. Now it's time to take action. Commit to one thing you've learned today and make it happen. And to avoid any obstructions, join the Sport is Life movement by clicking on the link in the show notes.